Now, anyone that knows me know that I have a heart for the youth. Today's society is going through a lot right now. So many young people are being challenged in so many areas. They're being challenged in three primary areas that I see all the time: drugs, gangs, and violence. Those three areas, you have kids that are challenged in the areas of drugs, dealing with drugs, substance abuse, gangs, to join a gang, whether or not to join a gang, and violence. You see it all the time. I represent people that are as young as 9 years old, and I do a lot of juvenile work, and so many young people are suffering in those areas. So after looking at all this and seeing all this and experiencing all this, I knew that we had to have a show to take care of these issues. Now, I know this issue is just too big for one show, so I said, you know what? We need a series. We need to talk to people that have been there, people that have seen these issues. A lot of folks will be like, Tyrell, man, you ain't never been through anything. You never seen anything. Well, we found people that have. We found people that have experienced what it's like to grow up in a drug area. We have experienced, who have experienced what it's like to be in a gang. We have people that know what it's like to have used drugs and smoked weed and smoked crack and been addicted to so many substances. We have found those people, and we brought them here so they can share their real story with a real attorney. So ladies and gentlemen, hold on tight. It's time to lawyer up.
Don't walk, walk. Do not enter. Hot dogs. Definitely like hot dogs. Motorcycle club. Everything must go. Ghostly ghouls. Don't look at that, Teddy. Body piercing. Ouch.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
Welcome back to Lawyer Up. We're here with Miss Gail Shiver, and she's talking with us about so many issues with substance abuse. And she told us that she had experience with a population of 18 to 25. Am I right?
Yes.
Now tell us a little bit about what you actually did with those young men. And was it men?
Yes,
and
young men.
In prison?
Yes, I worked with the California Youth Authority and in a maximum security facility with young males from the age of 18 to 25-year-olds that were incarcerated. And most of the, in fact, all of them that I work with, substance abuse had been somehow related to their commitment offense.
Okay.
And they were required by the board to complete drug treatment while they were incarcerated.
Okay.
So that was kind of my early experience with substance abuse and guys who were incarcerated in that youth, that young age. And
let me ask you this question, because one thing that I've seen a lot as an attorney, I've seen so many people that they get in trouble simply because of their addiction to drugs. I mean, I've represented people that committed larcenies. I mean, amazing amount of larcenies and stealing, obtaining property by false pretenses, all because they have to find some way to get money to get the drugs. They steal to get money to get the drugs. They just have to have it. So when a person is in a situation where they're just that possessed with the desire to get that drug, how can you even talk to them, get into their mind, to reason with them, to help them to understand that this is not where you need to be? Because they're really, they're fiending, they got it bad. How can you get their mind in a position that you will be able to talk to them and get inside their head? What can you do to reach that man or that woman, that boy or that girl when they're in that position?
Well, I encourage any family member or loved one that if you have someone in that position, it's very hard to get through them, first of all, until they get to a point, they hit their rock bottom.
Okay.
Every person has a different rock bottom. For you or I, it may be losing a car or losing our home, you know,
right.
or just having a legal issue, one legal issue. But I'm sure you've seen it, that some folks have legal issue after legal issue. They
yes.
become homeless, and they still have not recognized that this is an issue for them. So everybody rock bottom is at a different place. But as a family member, I say just keep encouraging them, keep give them a little tough love, let them know you love them, but you will not support this, because many times families think they're helping, and they're actually enabling them to keep doing what they're doing.
Talk to me about this tough love, because
Okay.
I've seen some tough love that's too tough, but I've seen some tough love that's beneficial. So talk to me about
for
tough love.
example, if I had a family member who's drinking and say they hanging over this morning, they can't get to work, I call in and lie for them to cover for them so they can keep their job.
Right.
And the more I lie for them, the more I try to bail them out of their situations. It make it a little easier for them to go back and do the same thing again.
Right.
It's only when things really start to hit hard for you that people wake up and say, hey, I got to do something different
take
here.
responsibility for it.
I've got to do something different here. Mom is not rescuing me anymore. Dad is not rescuing me. It doesn't mean that they don't love them, but it comes a point where the family has to say, I love them enough not to keep bailing them out. I love them enough to allow them to hit rock bottom so they'll open their eyes and wake up to this situation.
Well,
and it's a tough
real.
thing
It's
for
real.
family.
It's real.
To do, because you don't want to see your loved one
That's
homeless.
your baby.
You know,
That's
that's
your
your
baby.
baby. You don't want to see them on the street. You know, you don't want to see them in jail. And so sometimes tough love is the only way to cause them to wake up and open their eyes and say, I got to do something. I need some help.
That's
and,
right.
And
That's
like
right.
I said earlier, admitting is the first step. And even after admitting, going into recovery is hard. Even
Right.
after you get to a point you can admit that you have a problem, it's still not easy, because of course, to get on the technical side, there becomes a little bit of a chemical imbalance in the brain after you've used drugs for a while.
So let me slow you down real quick. And you said after you admit it and after you actually try to start the process of recovery, it can still be difficult.
It can be difficult.
Because of chemical imbalance. What do you mean by this whole chemical imbalance issue?
Certain substances, they call it, to put it in simple terms, that we have what we call a blood-brain barrier in our brain, and it kind of protects our brain. But certain drugs can cross that blood-brain barrier. And if you know anyone that's used crack before, once it can cross that blood-brain barrier, and it puts the brain on repeat. That's why they keep going back using until they can't use it anymore, until all their money is gone, because it kind of put the brain on repeat. And so you have to give that brain time to heal, to get back to a different state,
right,
where it needs to be, where you can sustain. But in the meanwhile, a strong support system, someone that's gonna support you but yet call you on your mess, because just not using is not enough. That's not recovery. You can be what I call a dry drunk or a dry addict. You're not using, but all the behaviors are still there. You're still lying, you're still scheming, you're still doing things like you did when you used. So recovery is not just about not using the drug, but it is about changing behaviors altogether.
Well, let me ask you this, because one thing that I have experienced in my field as a criminal defense attorney and even as a minister myself, I've seen a lot of people who went to drugs as a coping mechanism. They're not the ones that were brought to drugs because their boys were doing drugs or their girls were doing drugs. That was the cool thing to do. That was the end thing to do. They went to drugs because they're depressed.
Yes.
They went to the drugs because, man, they're worried. They have so many issues with their life.
Absolutely.
And so they use that to get over it.
Yeah.
So what do you do with a person? They obviously don't want to do drugs, but they don't want to face reality either.
Yes.
So what do you do when you have a person in a situation such as one of those? I mean, they need to get away.
And that's pretty common. There are people that actually are dealing with depression, actually dealing with anxiety issues or social issues, and they don't feel comfortable in a social environment, and the substance helps them feel more comfortable.
Right.
And a lot of times that's issues that have gone undiagnosed, and they're pretty much self-medicating instead of going to the doctor and finding out what's going on, or going to see a therapist, finding out what's going on so they can properly diagnose you and you can get the proper drugs. They self-medicate.
Right.
And when it comes to something like that, I encourage that person to try to see someone about that, get help. And so you're not self-medicating, because a lot of times alcohol, of course, is a depressant.
Right.
So it can bring on depression, and certain drugs can bring on other mental health issues. And so it's kind of like the people say about the chicken and the egg, which came first,
right.
the chicken or the egg?
Right.
In the substance abuse field, we have a lot of people that are dual diagnosed today. They're diagnosed not only with a substance abuse issue, but also a mental health issue.
Right.
And so, and a lot of times we're trying to figure out, did they start using drugs and then the mental health issue came, or did they have the mental health issue and they self-medicated with the drugs? And so we have to get a balance there to address the mental health issue as well as the substance abuse issue.
Well, Ms. Shiver, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want you to actually talk to us about the programs that you have, the name of your organization, how we can get in contact with you, and we're going to be right back with more.
Okay.
We'll be right back, y'all, with more Lawyer Up.
All the evidence is in, and now it's time for the final arguments of the lawyers. When I hear those words, I feel like a baseball player in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs, and I'm up to bat. When I hear those words, I feel like a basketball player with 3 seconds on the clock and the game is on the line. When I hear those words, I feel like a quarterback in the 4th quarter on a game-winning drive, 2 minutes left to go. When I hear those words, I feel like I'm in a championship fight. I need a knockout to win. When I hear those words, there's one thought that goes in my mind. There's one thought that plays over and over again. There's one phrase that I continuously hear. And that phrase is, let's go to work.
Thomas Lynch, No Exit Productions.
Regina Sanders with Sanders Photography. I've been in photography business for 6 years, and the thing that I like most about being a photographer is shooting those special moments that people have together.
No Exit Production has been in the business for about 15 years. We cover the gamut when it comes to media production. We do everything from freelance for ESPN and Fox Sports to our own documentaries and video productions.
I love doing weddings, family reunions, baby showers, anything that you could possibly imagine that you want to share with someone else. About 3 years ago, I decided to team up with No Exit Production. It brought my business to another dimension. We now can offer video and photography.
When we teamed up with Sanders Photography, it was a perfect fit because we were able to expand our business to photos. You can log on to www.officialnxp.com.
Contact Regina Sanders at 252-717-0486 or Thomas Lynch at 252-714-8249.
Welcome back to Lawyer Up. We've been here with Ms. Gail Shiver, a substance abuse counselor, and she's been talking a lot about a lot of mental health issues and substance abuse issues. So you have an organization here, is it in Greenville?
Yes, it is.
Tell us about that organization that you
the
have.
organization is Sure Foundation Behavioral Health Services.
You said it's called Sure Foundation?
Sure Foundation Behavioral Health services.
Okay.
And we're right here in Greenville. Right now, I'm providing DWI services for assessments and short-term, long-term, and ADAC classes.
Okay.
In addition to that, I have added outpatient therapy as one of the services as well. And so we welcome anyone that may be struggling with substance abuse issue or may have recently gotten a DWI in need of assessment or the classes or so forth.
Let me ask you this question, and this is a tricky question, but I'm going to ask it because I ask what I want to ask my show.
Great.
What makes your agency, your substance abuse agency, what makes your agency different from so many of the other agencies that are out there? I mean, there's a lot of them now.
It really is.
But there's a lot of people that get charged with these issues, and they have to come. What makes your organization and your agency different?
I feel that our agency, because of the experience that we have in the field and because of the spiritual piece that we add, our name Sure Foundation, we know that God is our sure foundation.
Okay.
And I believe that as much as I believe in treatment, I also believe that you can't do it without connecting with your higher power, because there's a point in substance abuse where you become powerless and you have to reach up for your higher power to give you the strength to come back. And you know, I'm an ordained minister, and I believe that when you have God in your life, and then you're able to understand, you know, some people say, you know, God can deliver you from substance abuse. He can do that. Yes, he can. But there's a time when you really need to understand your addiction. Because if you don't understand what you're battling, you don't know how to go about defeating it. And so it's important that you get treatment so you can understand your addiction and also connect with your higher power, that he can help you move forth and empower you to do what's needed. So I think our experience, our spiritual piece that we add to it, and just my personal experience. I'm the youngest of 13 children, and some of us were struggling with substance abuse issues as well. So I have firsthand experience even with my loved ones, and the importance of supporting them yet not enabling them.
Well, tell me, if someone wanted to actually get in contact with you, with your organization, they either had a DWI or had a drug charge, or they just wanted to get help in general.
Yes.
How would they get in contact? Would you have a phone number or a website, an address or something?
Absolutely.
Just give us the information to get in contact
the
with.
quickest way to get up with us, our number is 252-916-8261.
We'll say it again, 252-916-8261.
8261.
8261.
Yes,
okay.
And we're located at 101 West 14th Street.
101 West 14th Street here in Greenville?
Yes.
Okay.
Suite 12A. It's on the corner of Evans and 14th Street.
Okay.
Suite 12A. And we have a website, www.surefoundationbhs.com.
All right, say that one more time really slow.
www.surefoundationbhs.com.
Okay. Now let me ask you this, because this issue is such a wide open issue.
Yes.
I mean, you said so many great things earlier, such as the tough love. I've literally had to come up here and tell moms, and look, Mom, I know you love your baby, but don't hire me. Don't hire me, because if I win and get him off, he's going to go right back and do the same. Do not. But sometimes it's hard to get a family member to realize that you can't keep bailing them out.
That's
you can't
right.
keep giving them help.
Yes.
What do you do when you have a situation where the family members are constantly enabling the person? They can't get the help they need because they're constantly being enabled by the family member. Do you ever have a situations, and what do you do in those situations?
And in those situations, sometimes it's important to bring the family in and maybe do some family therapy sessions with the family, and educate the family. Sometimes the family just don't know. They really think that what they're doing is helping their loved one, because like you said, they love their babies. You know, this is their baby. They love their baby, and thinking if they're there enough that maybe they will just change. Well, when you make it easy for a person to keep doing what they're doing, they don't change. It's hard for them to change because they expect you to rescue. And the first time you don't rescue, they're angry. They're going to blame you. You don't love me.
You get guilty.
You know, and try to put guilt on the family member. And a lot of families struggle with that guilt. you know, from their kids and from their loved ones. And so it's important that the family get engaged in therapy sometimes. You know, we have support groups like AA and NA, and then you have support groups for the family as well, you know.
Well, that's big. Well, Ms. Sharp, this is what I want you to do right now, because the whole purpose of this series is to help youth. The young people that may be addicted to drugs, that may be suffering from gang violence and all these other issues. What I want you to do right now, we have a camera right here. I want you to look at that camera, and you have the floor. I want you to talk to that person. He may be addicted to drugs. He may be thinking about drugs, thinking about what he's going to do for his next high. Talk to that person, that man, that woman, that boy, or that girl, and let them know that they need to seek help. Talk to them right now. The floor is yours.
I just want to say, is first of all, addressing the youth and the family of youth. You know, mom and dad, if you see your babies really changing, your young people really changing a set of friends that they hang around with, and suddenly they don't really want you to know their friends because they know their friends are doing things that you don't approve of, that's probably a red flag. When little Johnny or whoever is starting to change the group that he hangs around with and becoming very, very secretive. Now that's kind of common among adolescents, but especially when they're starting to experiment with drugs. It's important that you not be afraid to address them, to talk to them, challenge them. You know, a lot of kids, when they get to that age, they want privacy in their bedroom. You know what? You need to go in that bedroom sometime and check out what's going on in that bedroom. You might find paraphernalia. You might find other things that will give you a sign that they're starting to experiment with drugs. And it's so important to intervene before it becomes an addiction. So I challenge you, parents, to be more aware of what's going on with your children, who they're hanging out with, where they're going. And you know, they may hate you for it right now, but they'll thank you for it in the future. And also, for an adult person who is struggling, I challenge you, if you are starting to pay a whole lot of money out on lawyer fees or legal issues, or losing jobs, losing your family, your marriages is going bad because of your substance abuse, it's time to admit that this is a problem and it's starting to affect every area of my life. So I challenge you today to seek help. There's help here. I'm one of many agencies here, but I believe that I'm one of the best. And you can give us a call. And if I can't help you, I will direct you on where to go, because you're worth it. You know, sometimes when we start to use substance a lot, we start to, it begins to affect self-esteem. And you begin to get a little down on yourself, but you got to look at yourself in that mirror and tell yourself that I'm worth it. I'm worth the fight. I'm worth going out, getting some help. I'm not ashamed. And a lot of times shame will keep you denying what is going on. But I challenge you to put shame aside, because many times you thinking you're hiding and everybody around you already know there's an issue. So I challenge you to get help. There's agencies all over the place that will willingly help you. And I challenge you also, as I talked with attorney today, Clemons, I was sharing with him that not only is it important to get help, but it's important to connect with your higher power, because it's going to take the prayers of your family, your prayers of your loved ones, and learning about your addiction to help you move forth and accomplish your goals.
Well, we appreciate you. Yes. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
And look, we'll be back for more Lawyer Up.
All the evidence is in. And now it's time for the final arguments of the lawyers. When I hear those words, I feel like a baseball player in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs, and I'm up to bat. When I hear those words, I feel like a basketball player with 3 seconds on the clock and the game is on the line. When I hear those words, I feel like a quarterback in the 4th quarter on a game-winning drive, 2 minutes left to go. When I hear those words, I feel like I'm in a championship fight. I need a knockout to win. When I hear those words, there's one thought that goes in my mind. There's one thought that plays over and over again. There's one phrase that I continuously hear. And that phrase is, let's go to work.
Horseradish. Is that for horses? Remember me, Mr. Lobster? From last Tuesday? Banana. 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 comes the rain. We need a hat. And why do we need a hat? That's right.
When you talk with your child, you build vocabulary, and learning starts long before school does. For more tips, go to bornlearning.org.
Now in court, I oftentimes say something kind of like this. You can smoke cigarettes for 15 years, but you're still going to have to deal with cancer. You can quit, you can stop smoking, everything can be over, but you're still going to have to deal with cancer. You have to deal with the bad decisions that you made in life. There's a wise saying that goes, experience is a good teacher, but a fool learns from none other. Today we had real people talking about real issues, real struggles, real challenges that they overcame. They talked about the cancer that they overcame from the choices that they made in their life. There was a song that went that the children are our future. That song is very true. And these people took the time out of their day to make sure they can express to you how not to follow in their footsteps, how not to get cancer, how not to make the bad decisions that they made in their lives. Now, so many young people struggle in these areas of drugs. So many young people struggle in the areas of violence. So many young people struggle in the areas of gangs. And so many people wonder, can it happen? Can I deal with it? Can I fix it? Can I beat this thing? But we have people today through this series that told you and showed you that it can be done. It doesn't matter what situation you find yourself in, you can overcome it. We have real people that did that. I care so much about the youth. I care so much about our future. And these people care so much about you, they do not want you to fall in the trap. If you have a criminal record, if you're a person that is addicted to marijuana, addicted to cocaine, or addicted to anything like that, it will affect your life. They told you that it would affect your life. It affected their lives. If you're in a situation like that, get help. We have people here that will be able to help you. They told you the numbers. You can get help. Our future, the future for myself, the future for my family, the future for my child, the future depends on you. We need to make sure that we are taking care of the future. Ladies and gentlemen, you are the future. So what I want you to do is to make sure that you learn from the mistakes and not follow in those footsteps. Thank you for tuning in. And watch next time for more Lawyer Up. Tune in right here to this channel to watch Lawyer Up. It's a real show with real people talking to a real attorney. You don't want to miss it. Watch.